Hi, I'm Shaul. At the end of the last video, I was playing with the idea of going back to the screw-driven autofocus. That is an older technology that a few manufacturers used in the 90s, or the early days of autofocus, where the autofocus motor was located inside the camera and the distance was relayed to the lens through a screwdriver mechanism. The disadvantages of this technology are a more noisy autofocus, but it has some advantages that I feel become more relevant now in the mirrorless era. Autofocus lenses driven by screwdrive can be smaller because you don't need the autofocus motor or motors to be located inside the lens. It is also more reliable because the lens has less electronic parts, less moving parts. It can also be cheaper because you do not have to integrate a sophisticated autofocus mechanism in each individual lens. The mechanism itself is in the body. The lens filming me now is the 35mm f2 made by Nikon. It's a simple, small screw mount lens first introduced in 1993, I think. And it's considered obsolete nowadays. It is mounted on a Nikon D780. As far as I know, this 2019 DSLR is the only camera that can natively autofocus lenses such as this one in live view or video mode. I'm making this video in part to test the efficiency of autofocus with this camera. So I'll try to get nearer to the lens or further away to see whether the focus can keep up with my face in a reliable manner. So this is the Nikon D780. It's one of the latest, maybe greatest DSLRs ever made. It's a 2019 introduction. My copy has had quite a harsh life, so I had to wrap it in a protective silicone skin. But you can look online if you are interested in seeing what it really looks like. Anyway, this camera is a conventional DSLR. It has all the usual DSLR layout. It has a phase detection, autofocus through the viewfinder. but it has a trick up its sleeve. If you press this little LV button, you can see that the live view turns it into a mirrorless camera. It behaves just like any other mirrorless camera. You can autofocus it right across the screen, unlike DSLRs where the focus points are concentrated around the middle of the frame, and it's quite a nice camera, except it's a bit of a primitive system, because it does not have an electronic viewfinder, of course, being a DSLR, and all the interface is limited to the main LCD screen. It does not have a flippy screen, of course, which is not ideal for video, but this tilting LCD is quite nice for stills photography. It is also not stabilized in any way. So the modern stabilized mirrorless cameras have a big advantage over it. Would I recommend this camera? Well, I don't know. Modern mirrorless cameras really do have an advantage over this one. They actually have many advantages. I can see no advantage in mounting lenses such as this on a native mount camera compared to a modern mirrorless mount. On a mirrorless camera, you can still obtain all the image characteristics of this nice lens without making any compromises, and you can achieve autofocus on a large portion of your frame. So there is really no advantage for using a DSLR like this. The only advantage of this camera over mirrorless cameras is the ability to use screw drive lenses, such as this one. But for me, and especially for stills photography, this is truly a significant capability that mirrorless cameras currently lack. It's so good to be back on the Nikon ZF, where due to the flippy screen I can see myself when shooting, not just guess where my face appears in the frame. Anyway, bringing back screw drive lenses will allow making them really small, like this. Now, this is a lens designed for DSLRs or reflex cameras in general. So they are fitted to a long flange distance, and the design has to be retrofocal. But for mirrorless, we can use really tiny lenses like this one. It is designed for a rangefinder system. You can bring the focus group backwards and make those lenses really small. The screwdriver mechanism itself is only very small. It doesn't take much space inside the lens. In this one, and it doesn't weigh much, only a few grams. So lenses made for such type of autofocus can be really small and light. Even wide fast zooms like this 20 to 35 millimeters are much lighter when they're fitted with a screwdriver autofocus mechanism than when they're fitted with an autofocus motor. Lenses equivalent to this one would weigh at least 900 grams or 2 pounds. This one weighs a little bit more than 1 pound, about 550 grams, and it's as nice. It's a lot smaller too. Just to see whether the screwdriver autofocus is adequate for real-life video shooting, I made a little comparison between a screwdriver focusing lens, a rangefinder lens adapted through an autofocus adapter to a mirrorless camera, and a mirrorless native lens. In my opinion, the screwdriver autofocusing is perfectly adequate. It's good enough. It's much better than that autofocus adapter. And the main difference between it and the native lens is not in autofocus functionality, but in stabilization, since the D780 that can autofocus those lenses does not have any type of stabilization, and these older lenses are of course not optically stabilized either. I rather prefer the Light Lens Lab 35mm, which is in the middle section of this video, due to its special rendering, but that is a different story. I think that is all for today, so thank you for watching.